Hey friends, it's Iridescent. It's been a long two days within the state legislature, and it's the beginning of a long week. So step one is if you need to prioritize your mental health and take a step away, please do so, especially my trans friends. We have time to continue to rally. If you have questions about how to submit things to your legislators, would like me to submit them on your behalf, I will gladly do that. In fact, I will gladly reach out and email every single legislature. I can make email lists and continue to barrage them with information. That is something I am willing to do. I really just want to touch tonight on what happened today with Senate Bill 12 being kind of shoved to the side and Senate Bill 233 coming forward, and what happened with testimony today. We were told by the committee chair about 15 minutes before that only 6 people could talk, and those 6 people did fantastic. I wanted to go over what I was going to say and reiterate everything as well. I'm going to try to put a timestamp if you would not like to listen to that testimony for some opportunities for getting involved towards the end of this video. So the next few minutes are going to be dedicated. Don't know if any legislators will watch this, but it'll be dedicated to those legislators that I need to listen. After that point, we have some great organizational opportunities coming up, including getting to share your joy. So I will include that at the end of the video and learn how to do the timestamp. Alrighty, so here is my testimony for Senate Bill 12 / now Senate Bill 233, which aims to just have the same goal, just in a different fashion. These bills are bullying, and recently the House Committee on Education defined bullying, and these bills are repeated behaviors of bullying. This isn't about kids. It never has been. Senate Bill 12 had the age of 21. That is awful. To begin with, we shouldn't have any of these bills. But to say this is about kids is a blatant lie, as we have seen with Mike Thompson and Mark Steffens' Senate Bill 12. But the effects this will have on K through 12 trans kids is monumental. It is targeted bullying by adults onto a few trans kids, and it sends the message not only to other adults, but to kids that it is okay to bully and to target trans kids. And over last weekend, we saw just that. It creates an environment where kids' identities are up for debate, and it leaves trans kids feeling invalidated and targeted. These bills do not remove the transness out of a kid. And this isn't a solution to what proponents of this bill are seeing as the transgender problem. Forcing a kid into puberty they do not want isn't a solution. It is torture. This bill is focusing on a small, marginalized group of people. And I didn't come out as a kid because I knew it wasn't safe for me. And I've been met with disgust for simply existing. And I've told the House Committee on Education this, and I say this very literally. My life has been threatened a couple times since I came out. I have been threatened with swatting. I have been threatened multiple times with swatting. I have been stalked. I have been doxxed. My family's been doxxed. And I have been harassed for being myself. The Trevor Project recently did a study that found that just the introduction of legislation like this causes mental distress on trans youth. And to those trans youths that are watching, we are not going to give up. 2/3 of trans youth state that they have had their mental health negatively impacted. This is legislative overreach. And Senator Thompson, you've stated that you support LGBTQI+ people. So why have you signed the Promise to America's Children, written by Family Policy Alliance, that aims to make same-sex marriage illegal and strip LGBTQIA+ people of their rights? You made it very clear today in your questioning when you asked if someone had been groomed. And the only person grooming trans people is you, for you to use their voices for your political gain. As you consider this bill, I want you to imagine that there's a trans kid sitting right next to me. If I were able to say this in committee, I would have said standing right next to me. Her name is Lucy, and she is 8 years old. Now, I need you to imagine getting on your knee to talk to her. Tell her the same things you've told us. Tell her that this is for her. This is for kids. And now I want you to tell her that you're going to take away her ability to live authentically. That is for her own good that you're going to allow her friends to misgender her. That is for her own good that she'll be forced into a puberty that she does not want. That's for her own good that she's going to feel tortured and trapped within her own body as her voice deepens and her facial hair grows. That is for her own good that she's going to grow up to hate herself, and looking in the mirror will cause her more pain than you can ever imagine. That's for her own good that you will continue to fight to ensure that even into adulthood, she won't be able to access the medical care that she needs. That is for her own good that her loss of access to the care that she needs will make her the target of bullying and harassment. And that's for her own good that one day she might wake up and decide that the next day is not worth living. That is the promise you are making if you vote yes on this bill. And I will promise that I will not give up. And neither will the other members of our coalition. I am an Eagle Scout, and that is very important to me. I was taught to be helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, and this bill and all other anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ bills are none of those things. I spent nearly a decade working with Scouts down at a camp and became an educator. Specifically, I became a teacher. But I had to make a choice. Because in Kansas, it is not safe to be trans and to be an educator, to be a teacher. And so I decided I want to live authentically. So I've decided to pursue another path of education, working with college students. I was shown hate for saying that I was a girl and that I felt like a girl growing up. And so I repressed myself and I learned to hate who I was becoming. And I just wanted to be myself. And that is all trans kids want to do as well. These bills are pushing rhetoric that it's okay to bully and to target. And life is hard enough for trans youth. We shouldn't be adding to it, because being a kid is a time to explore who you are, to have fun, to make mistakes, and to just be yourself. Because when you grow up, that targeting and that bullying doesn't stop. And I've lived this. And that is why we are fighting right now, because someday we hope it will, and that it will stop. There have been over 15 anti-trans bills in Kansas since last January. I have been tracking the bills in Missouri since the beginning of this year, and there have been over 30. These bills are not about sports or about protecting kids. This is about trans erasure. This is genocidal rhetoric that we are talking about. Trans kids want to cherish, love, and flourish and surround themselves with people who accept, love, and cherish them too. And a team can be that place. But school should also be that place. Everywhere should be that place. And trans kids shouldn't have those opportunities ripped away from them. I want to address the bullying that is currently happening within the Kansas legislature, because I believe that many of you have good hearts, but we are stuck in a dark storm. And it's a dark storm that starts from the fear and the uncertainty within our hearts. It's a dark storm that stems from misinformation, and misinformation is perpetuated through bullying. It is that information that committees are giving credence to and allowing to have extra time to speak and allowing it to air and to be heard on the floor. There are members of our legislature that have cried out to Representative Stephanie Byers after being threatened and bullied to vote against our trans kids. And if we don't address this dark storm, it's going to consume all of us. And the only way to address this bullying is to listen to the trans voices in the room and not shut them out. We must open our hearts and strive to be kind, because I am not sitting here to boast that I'm right. I'm doing this because what I'm doing is kind. We have to remember that hate is foolish and that love is wise. That we must always try to be nice, but we can never fail to be kind. Because it is only in darkness that we are revealed. And good is good in the final hour, in the deepest pit, in the darkest storm, without hope, without witness, and without reward. Virtue is only virtue in extremis. So please, Open your hearts and open your minds, because our voices have the power to lift people up or to maim. Are you going to hold Lucy's hand in support, or are you going to rip a heart through her heart? To this point that I'm going to move away from the testimony that I wanted to give. I want to give a shout out to Mainstream Coalition. Their handle is KS Mainstream on Twitter. I want to give a shout out to ACLU of Kansas. Their handle is ACLU Kansas. I want to shout out to Loud Light. Loud Light is a wonderful organization, and their handle is loud_light. And then if you need to follow me or want to connect with me on any other social media, you can find me on Twitter at Iridescent Uwu. I will have these handles in the video description. Soon these organizations, and then also myself, will be looking for people to share their joy, specifically trans joy. Your joy is something that is sacred to you, and we will keep fighting so they can't take that away from you. So please share your joy as comfortable as you feel to do so. If you need support, please reach out to me or any of these organizations. The Trevor Project is also a wonderful organization to reach out to. I'll be putting all those handles into the description. Unfortunately, I'll be keeping comments turned off, as I know I could easily be rated by Kiwi Farms in the comments, and the like. So if you need something, my DMs are open on Twitter. I want to support and connect with all of you and connect you with resources. You aren't alone. This fight isn't over, and we won't stop fighting until our last breath. Thank you.